Everything you do is perfect.
I just have to go there.
No, I don't see anything on the Twitch yet. Refresh video chat.
Well, here's hoping.
Into the
Let's
chat
see.
room, but no one is there. Couch. Videos. Oh,
Working.
Are we there?
yes.
I've been
I
twitching.
see us. Oh, we are live.
Oh, good. And you can hear us. Here's hoping that you can hear us.
Yes, I see someone in the chat saying hello. Chat, will you just let us know if you can hear us? Yes, they say yes.
Oh, wonderful. Marvelous.
I am
So exciting.
I am
Look at us.
exceedingly nervous.
Welcome, everyone, including we vixens, to the very first ever Shakespeare Shakedown.
Woohoo! I like that name. That's a good one.
Thank you.
Too far down, I'll be out of the picture, right? So it's more like a shake in place.
Yes, just a gentle vibrate.
But we can. Oh, yes, indeed. But we can get down.
That
What makes us dance like Shakespeare?
Amazing. Fabulous. So, as you know, if you're here, most likely, we are the Vixens on Guard. Hey! We are your local, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare experts.
Ooh.
As well as experts in a variety of things. We are just about to begin discussing some Shakespeare, but let us introduce the fabulous Shakespeareans before you. I am our scholar, Athena.
Ooh.
Oh, and I'm the wild child Pandora.
I'm your Amazon.
I'm a buccaneer, Brizo. Oh no, we did it simultaneously.
Let's go alphabetically.
You first, Hippolyta.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I'm going. I am the Amazon.
Oh, so it's my turn. Hi, I'm our buccaneer, Brizo.
Perfect.
Nailed it.
Vixens on guard. While we are most known for our fabulous stage combat and sword fighting, as you probably can tell, we are not in the same space, and so that becomes extremely difficult. But we are also all brilliant Shakespearean performers and dramaturgs.
Yes, drama. Can you tell me a little bit about that word, dramaturgs? Is that what you said?
Know what it means? What it sounds like it means? Is it?
What do you think it sounds like?
Well, you know, drama, and then everything that comes with drama, which is a bunch of poo.
Dramaturgs.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Thank
No.
goodness that's not what we're doing this evening live for you on stream.
I haven't on it, no.
Oh, don't say stream.
I'm actually fairly certain that would go against Twitch policy and protocol, so
Lovely.
no to that. Instead,
And then what's the turging part with the G?
the turging is theoretical understanding of reasonable
Oh, grammar.
Theoretical understanding of reasonable grammar as applied to dramatic works.
Oh,
Pick that up.
Extend beyond grammar. But that is what we will be focused on today. I will talk about every comma, every colon, every period, and ellipsis.
so we're going back to colons, are we? We just said we couldn't talk about that sort of thing.
We decided against that. We decided against that.
Fair, completely fair.
Apart each other doing fights. We're going to slice apart this monologue, right? And maybe even the process of the first Romeo and Juliet did.
Indeed, yes. Rather than slicing and dicing at each other, we will be slicing and dicing apart. In this case, one particular very small part of Shakespeare. One of our favorite of the Bard's works and most beloved versions of our performances of his is Romeo and Juliet, one of the very first shows that the Vixens ever performed. And we thought we would take some time tonight to talk more about the actual words that Shakespeare wrote rather than our delightful but anachronistic and let's say delightful twist on what he has going on there.
As you recall, before when we first did this play, we only had access to the words in his trash bin.
Indeed.
Yet we went over to Shakespeare's house and we looked at his trash bin, and so we didn't have very much of the show. But now we have this whole speech to look at.
Indeed, the full text. For those of you who would like to follow along with us, we will very shortly begin discussing Juliet's speech immediately following the marriage, where she awaits Romeo coming into her marital bed, as it were, which is Act 3, Scene 2. And we, the Vixens, are all working off of the Folger Shakespeare text, which is available online for free. So please,
Folder?
Folger.
Oh,
Like the best part of waking up is Shakespeare in your cup.
It's true. For everyone who's ever done an audition,
I do like waking up with Shakespeare.
gallop a pace business. It's gallop a pace.
Yes, the speech begins with gallop apace, indeed. We'll give everyone a moment to pull that up.
I mean,
Before
I hand wrote it in very beautiful Times New Roman.
Ooh,
wow, very
Roman.
classical for you there.
I mean, it goes along with the allusions in the first few lines.
I think it's a yellow parchment. I've never seen anything quite like it.
Ooh.
Yes.
And I shall be using a device of mine own creation.
That is shiny.
Oh, Steve Jobs.
Athena sent me one of her devices to also use. So thank you, Athena. It's honestly quite remarkable. It's like a captain's log, and also there's a very expedient portrait painter inside of it, if you've ever used it. Quite lovely.
Now, Brizo, don't tell me that you didn't steal it. You are a pirate, after all.
Well, maybe.
You know, sailed up to her port and then boarded her. And then, after plundering all of her booty and her chest, you then,
I also
never called the next day. It's very rude.
We do still have a PG-13 rating. Keep that in mind.
Swipe left and continue.
Pandora, given that you famously performed in the very first Vixen's version of Romeo and Juliet, and I believe were directly involved in the theft of the trash bin lines, would you care to give an introduction to how we got to this part of the play?
Oh, indeed. Well, we very quickly put together as much as we could remember of the show up to this point. So I believe we had an opening brawl already. Brawl, not something else. And then the prince came in, the artist formerly known as the Prince of Verona, came in and broke it up. So we're all a little angry, and then Romeo and Juliet meet. Juliet is a wonderful volunteer from our audience all of the time, and usually wears a very tall, very pointy, very lovely hat. And then more insulting ensues, and the character of Tybalt, who is Juliet's cousin, and Mercutio, who is Romeo's best friend, have a very fun brawl as well that ends up in some sticky, ouchy, die. And then
These are technical dramaturgical terms. Write this down.
yes, that's the dramaturgy. And then yes, indeed. And then Romeo's like, "How dare you, pawn?" And then he goes and attacks Tybalt, and there's some more stabby, die, ouchy. Maybe not in that order. And then Romeo's like, why did I do that? This is awkward. And then he finds out that he is banished. And then Juliet doesn't actually know any of that bad stuff because they just got married. They got married.
Spoiler alert, they do get married in the play. Yes.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet.
Spoiler alert for the 500-year-old play.
Puts a ring on it.
Likes it. So he better put a ring on it. And they dance to Beyonce. And then she goes home and waits. And then all that bad stabby stuff happens. And then she's talking right now to nobody, just excited for her new husband to come home to her, up to her balcony, so they can snuggle. They can Netflix and chill. Or they, tell everyone or run away or whatever they want to do. So it's a really nice juxtaposition in the show because there's just been this terrible death and everyone's all sad, and then in runs Juliet and she's like, yay, Netflix and chill. It's quite lovely. Good writing.
So we, as a company, don't do this entire monologue in our version of the show, which can be found on YouTube if you want to go and see it. In fact, we don't do any of this monologue. Perhaps what we should do is read through this monologue and then talk about sort of the themes and general beats and moments. And we can talk, we will get into breaking down exactly what the text is all about. But maybe we begin with, I don't know, actually, should we break it all down and then talk about how we have repositioned and restructured it in the show? Or this is what we've done with it, now here's what it really is?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think someone should probably decide that.
Either the source text first, and then we discuss how we have changed and muted it into fitting into our play, because after all, we were working on scrap material.
Oh, yes.
Very good point. Brizo, would you do the kind favor of reading aloud the original text from, once again, Romeo and Juliet, Act 3, Scene 2, Juliet's monologue that starts the scene?
I am honored that you would ask me, Athena, and I would love to.
All right.
Are we ready?
Drum please. You can do it in the chat too.
Action!
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, toward Phoebus' lodging. Such a wagoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love, performing night, that runaways' eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms untalked of and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rides by their own beauties, or, if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to lose a winning match, played for a pair of stainless maidenheads. Hood my unmanned blood, baiting in my cheeks, with thy black mantle, till strange love grow bold. Think true love acted simple modesty. Come, night, come, Romeo, come thou day in night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle night, come, loving black-browed night, give me my Romeo, and when I shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have bought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed, though tedious is this day, as is the night before some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear them. Ooh, stop there, keep going.
So romantic. Oh,
Amazing.
Heels.
The amount of times that I wanted to stop myself to scream, if you know what I mean, is honestly insane.
It's true.
Just going to make a comment in the same vein. There are many words that are repeated consistently throughout the monologue, and I think that we should address some of them. They are repetitious at best and overused at worst.
Well, the elephant in the room would be the word night, and how often the word night. So you've got cloudy night, love performing night. Oh, let's see. It best agrees with night, comes civil night. And then they just, all these metaphors for night, the matron all in black, with thy black mantle in the night. Come night, come Romeo, come thou day in night. Additional night. As is the night before some festival. It's just full of night.
Very dark, weary monologue.
And would not even happen.
The sun is garish, but night is all of these wonderful things. It implies this. Am I muted?
No.
Frustration that I think is lovely, and all the different emotions that she's going through, and we simply must have our audience volunteer attempt this at some point. But all those different emotions going in, from just pure joy to this demanding, to this hunger for her love, to frustration, to kind of a wooing and sweet, to this like innocent, impetuous child. And it's almost like bringing you through all the nights she's already had to this night, which is different than all others. It's beautiful.
It also, I think, leads directly to something that we've talked about, which is the references in this monologue, in this soliloquy, are literally talking about, let's crash the chariot of the sun god so that it can be night sooner. That's how desperate I am for night.
For those of you who are listening very carefully or are following along in your text, that sun charioteer mentioned by Brizo is Phaeton, who actually mythologically not great at his job.
No, not so much.
But bold in his proclamation thereof. But yes, known as the charioteer of the sun, and Phoebus as well. One of the Roman names for the sun god, and therefore a representative of the sun itself. So to pull the sun on its carriage towards its lodging says, "Please let us be done with day. I am ready now for night."
Yes.
And all of the things that it brings with it.
Oh, what a night.
Oh, what a night.
December back in 1663. Oh, to look for the future like that,
But night will come, because if once night gets here, that means Romeo will be with Juliet, and at last they can truly bring their love to full flower, as it were. And she's waiting for this all day, and it is taking way too long for him to show up. So whatever she's got to do, she's got to crash the very sun just to get it out of the way so that night can come sooner. That's how bad she wants to have this happen. This is the last moment. I mean, you have to think about this. This is the last moment of her childhood innocence before she fully becomes like a woman who is taking control of her life and having her marriage and going forth into the world, making decisions on her own and with her new husband together. And there's so much excitement and promise in this speech. She's just so excited for this to happen. And actually, in another way, it's the last moment of that innocence, but it also will become the last moment of her innocence, in the sense that directly after this speech, what happens is that the nurse comes in and lets her know that Tybalt is dead. So this is the last moment of her joy and her excitement. So her innocence will end after this speech, once night comes and Romeo comes to her. So there's something really beautiful about that, but also like there's such promise in it's so exciting.
Yes, and there's parts of me, part of being a vixen.
I also think of a very...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Please, Pandora.
Vixen is like that desire that we we had to become mercenaries to get what we want, which is to go on stage. And so I do love that idea of her taking control and being that strong woman that we all, are inspired to be, and take the sun and crash that chariot and get what she wants. That's very, very Vixen in training of her.
We have a comment in the chat from More Like Rigor Mortis that says, all of us in quarantine are Juliet. Begging for the gods themselves to speed along the end of this long day. And that's too real, frankly. Too real.
Hashtag not nay. Hashtag soup.
Well, at the end of all this, maybe you could write a speech that encapsulates all the emotions that you were feeling over this whole pandemic, and it could be as poetic and beautiful as this, right?
Right. I think right now it would go something along the lines of, gallop apace, you fiery-footed couch.
Yes.
Toward the lodging of my bed. Such a wagoner as my teddy bear would whip you to the west and bring in de-sheltering immediately. I did that. Oh, come.
I'm weeping, honestly.
Come divot in my cushion, whereupon I do lay my haunch each day. Dig thee not further, closer to the ground, but free me from my pillow and blanketed bonds.
That's beautiful.
Oh,
I'll workshop it.
I mean, full packages of toilet paper leaping into my arms, untalked of and unseen, for they have been bereft upon the shelves. Oh,
Yea, do I long for the day where I may walk about unmasked.
Yes.
Unmasked.
Brizo, I believe you had something you wanted to say.
Brizo, I didn't mean to interrupt earlier.
Well, actually, it's quite relevant to the conversation, because one of the things that I find fascinating about this speech is that while she's claiming her sort of strength and her charge of her life, she's also quite scared. And I think fundamentally, if we are talking about this being cuarentena and the end of it, the fear is real, and so is the strength, that those things can live simultaneously. But that's actual courage.
Yes.
Indeed.
Is that she is, how excited she is, and that both simultaneously.
Yes, indeed. That resilience, is not an absence of fear, but the willingness to push through and get help and do everything you need to wait for your Romeo, whatever that might be. Might be a trip to the brewery, a coffee shop, whatever it is. Yeah.
From a friend that you have missed, that you can only see via a very far distance.
Yep. Oh, yes. Hug.
Mm-hmm.
Hug. I wanted to the thing I wanted to explain to me, Athena. So I saw that it says that there's a winning match played for a pair of stainless maidenhood. Is this what they're talking about? Stainless. I call this one maiden and this one hood.
They're brilliant names. And would perhaps help you acquire a maidenhood were you an unscrupulous character.
Yes.
But in this case, nay. The stainless maidenhoods refer to the fact that, and to be fair, Juliet is making a rather large assumption in this moment. She can certainly speak for herself, but is in fact, given where our young hero begins this play, a rather large assumption, in that the stainless maidenhoods refer to the virginity of our two characters, that they shall be, that their souls in the truly puritanical views of the time were stainless by being untouched in the biblical sense.
We know that's incorrect because these swords get very dirty, yet they are still technically stainless.
True, those can be scrubbed.
Yes.
I
Think
encourage you away from scrubbing at
your soul.
yes, your soul. Yes.
Good.
But yes, Juliet is making a presumption here that Romeo has kept his, it would not be referred to necessarily as a maidenhood, or rather a maidenhood, but has
A masterhood? Would it be a masterhood?
I was going to say manhood.
Sure, yes, that also.
That his manhood is unstained, unsullied, just as is hers.
Well, I would like to say, based on the beginning of the play and how pouty Romeo is, I'm thinking no.
That is a very good point.
He's very, unless it's because someone else said no, but I don't know. It's awfully pouty.
Well, regardless, this is the first they've ever felt towards anyone like
the first they've ever felt this way, that they are matched in passion for each other, and that they're joining together like with the power of this love, that neither of them have ever been so struck by before. And that is why it is also so new and exciting, but also terrifying, because this has never happened before, and it's making them both do a little bit of crazy things that they've never done before. I mean, the power of love that Romeo is feeling is such that, you know, he's trying to stop a duel from happening and getting his friend killed, and then he has to kill someone else in order to make this happen.
Yes,
That is not.
he tried to stop it. He tried to stop Mercutio and Tybalt. He did his best.
Did. His best wasn't good enough.
No.
Did not work out well, all things considered.
Also, plays need drama. There's no drama if there's no conflict.
That's true.
And this really big conflict. Hey, babe, I married you this morning, and on the way home from the church, I killed your cousin. Let's get it on.
In-laws are challenging, so just one down, you know. So
Happens to the best of us.
You are so, or what we did instead.
I'm actually going to turn it over to the chat for one moment.
Sure.
To see, there is so much more to unpack in this monologue, and if they want us to talk about anything in particular, any references or imagery before we turn left and talk about our approach to it, because there's still so much in here. I'm not seeing anything come up in particular. So yes, let's now talk about how the Vixens have approached this. Well, Selene wants us to unpack it all. We don't have time.
If you know what I mean.
I mean, the other thing, if you want to tie it to the current situation that many of us are in right now, that the day is very tedious, as is the night before some festival to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear. So think of it as, you know, you bought a very nice new swimsuit and some cute shorts and some sunglasses and maybe a flower crown so that you could go out this summer and have a good time, and no one gets to see them yet.
Hera and Melody are both holed up, and Hera in particular spends an inordinate amount of time just going through her closet. Melody has crafted more flower crowns than I thought human fingers could do.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I see this? It hurts, you know.
It really does. It speaks to me on a deep level.
I read all of the books.
For an appetizer.
Twice.
I run through the woods and I howl as loud as I can, and no one's close enough to howl back.
Oh.
I just keep dancing salsa by myself, and it's not the same. It's just not.
I will salsa with you via this platform whenever you want.
Honestly, it's something we should talk about. I would love that.
Okay, great, good.
Not 20 minutes before we began broadcasting, I had salsa right over there.
Oh my goodness, spicy.
Hippolyta, though, we've wildly derailed your point. Would you like to get us back on track?
Getting back on track. Well, so are we then moving on to discussing how we have utilized this in the play? Because this speech itself does not come in. We get into the business where there's the wedding and we don't let them do the smoochy. We've got to go send Juliet off to get ready for stuff.
Hold on there, Tiger.
Hold on there, Tiger. Hold on there, Tiger King. You're going to jail.
Yeah.
So she goes off to wait lovingly, romantically. Well, then Romeo's got to go do some stabby, bleedy, ouchy, die, I believe is the dramaturgical term.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Ask Aristotle about that one. It's not our fault.
It's very true. Sort of the similar sense of like wonder and feeling that we do in our actual performance of the show would be our take on the I Feel Pretty song, which we have liberally borrowed from A West Side Story, which is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet.
Yes,
which is not
really borrowed itself.
It is following the same sort of story beats. So it's her moments of being like, I feel like a woman. I feel like I'm coming into my own. I feel so beautiful because at last I have met someone that is actually, because I didn't want to really go to the dance. I just went because that's the thing you do, and then didn't expect to like anyone there, but I'll just go. I'll wear a cute dress. It's fine, whatever. But no, it's like, I feel
Happens to be white.
Speaking of stainless steel maidenheads, so she's dressed and ready to go to this party, and she finally feels, she's like, this is so exciting for me. I can't wait to actually do this for the first time. I really want to be a part of this whole like love and relationship thing, because otherwise I just see it sort of being dramatic and annoying with everyone else doing it. And I sort of stay off to the side, be like, that's nice. Oh, I just love hearing about all your problems, everyone else. And now she's like in it. She's in it to win it. I mean, that's my interpretation. Thoughts?
Of the I Feel Pretty? Yes, I love that. I love Maria is at that moment, I believe, about to run away with Antonio Romeo, and leave. But
that connection before.
And they all think that she's talking about Chino, this other man who they're trying to set her up with. So that's really a lovely scene, and she's just so joyous. And again, it's at the same time, in theory, as the big fight in the streets with chain link fences and all those exciting things. So it's really the feeling is the same, and I love that she's singing to a bunch of her friends. And when our audience volunteer does the song, he's definitely with all of us, with his new friends. And the idea of the puppeteering is very fun in that moment. So we get to play with the shapes that Juliet might make, and and just let him relax, So it's a really fun part of the show. I've always enjoyed doing that.
So now, because I am very new to the Vixens, as we all know, and have not gotten to perform a Romeo and Juliet myself, I'm curious, does the volunteer actually sing the song?
No, we can't. That would be a very large ask of a volunteer to A, know the words, B, know the choreography,
Also fair.
C, have the confidence and capability to pull off a song traditionally done by quite a high soprano.
Yes.
So instead, we place one vixen directly behind him as his voice, and we support his arms to do the choreography as the non Maria singing vixens provide a backup for me. In fact, oh Lord, other than Anita, who else is there?
Oh, in
the real I Feel Pretty. It's singing with
three
Athena.
friends. It's four friends or five friends. But two of them don't really have lines in the show, and I can't remember their names right now. Sorry.
If you are a Sondheim expert, get in the chat. Let us
Help us musical theatre friends.
We've spent more time with Shakespeare, less time with Sondheim. That's all right.
There's a lot of la-la-la-la-la-la-la-las happening.
Indeed.
Just standard, really. I mean, honestly, I felt that we took that song because of the fa-la-la tradition in most Elizabethan and Shakespearean festivals that we attend. Fa-la-la is like, hey, baby. Fa-la-la is in every sort of madrigal. It's in many songs. It's just every sort of song that you could think of. That is the pop culture reference of the time, is the fa-la-la. So we are really just tying it all together in a neat bow.
Stop this now. Everyone, fa-la-la to someone tomorrow in your household or via some sort of online platform.
Now at a stranger on the street while staying 6 feet away.
Fa-la-la your mailman. Do what you need to do.
Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
Oh, indeed. I'm sorry. More laws, less fars.
Oh,
Yes.
is my
You
darling.
really don't want to mess up the laws or the scansion or the stress on which law goes where. It's basically Japanese.
I mean, what if you were trying to do it in the way that people are now presuming is the original way that people pronounced words in Shakespearean, so that there's sort of like a weird accent that some people do? Fa-la-la-la-la-la-la. The stressing on the laws.
Ooh, could you be French or something? Fa-la-la. I can't do it. Fa-la-la. I don't want
I believe Brizo has frozen, but she is frozen in a way that makes her look so skeptical of what we are all doing.
I don't blame her. I'm skeptical of what I'm doing.
You're amazing.
You all froze for me, and then when you came back, you were French and following, and it was so much better. So my skepticism is gone. Let's just
Excellent.
just fixed it. Make it French. It fixes it.
Everything is better when it's French.
The Romance language. Croissant.
The language of le baguette.
That was the sexiest use of baguette I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Well, that was delightful. Are there any other questions in the chat?
I don't believe so. There's a lot of fa-la-la-ing, which is frankly.
Oh, I'm so glad. We've asked them to do it. And they immediately started.
So fa-la-la, so good.
There's a question if any of us speak French. And Melanoe is correcting the scansion of the laws. It's delightful.
What?
I speak a wee bit of French.
I can't do.
La 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 la.
Oh, fa-la-la-la-la.
Same way. I speak enough of that sort of language to, purchase a ticket to a museum and order a pastry and perhaps like a hot chocolate. That is the extent of my French.
Literally all you need.
I know.
That's enough.
This is enough.
I speak a little French. Our primary French speaker was, of course, Calypso Bordeaux. And I believe we actually have more Spanish speakers in the group now than French speakers.
But, now's the time to download that.
Everyone get on Duolingo. Do yourselves a favor. Be productive during this time. If you have the internal engine to drive you towards such things. And if not, you just sit on that couch, baby. You hop on that Netflix. You do whatever your soul needs.
Maybe if you want a challenge, you can learn it in the original Klingon.
Ooh.
Blah. Kapla, kapla, la, 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 la.
That's perfect.
That we're gonna wrap it there. We cannot top that joke. That's the
A beautiful translation, Pandora. Really quite.
so much for joining us. Once again, I'm Athena.
I'm Pandora.
I'm Hippolyta.
I'm Brizo.
I was afraid.
Yes, as was I.
Scene.
Well done. Mwah.